While not everyone may be brave enough to try out adventure sports like paragliding, a dog is winning the internet as he enjoys the thrill of the skies with his owner. In a video going viral, a big fluffy Samoyed is seen gliding through the air, soaking in every bit of the unusual experience with its owner. With its harness attached around its body, the dog was seen riding below the man who filmed their journey over the picturesque Col de Gragnon, a famous mountain pass in France. Starting the show with a big fluffy doggy, lovely. I'm your host Regan Tetlow, and this is the one and only Air Sports News, where you can find only the best and freshest aviation news. Let's go. Let's stay in the world of paragliding for a little while, because we've just finished the grand finale of the Paragliding World Cup event in Asnews, Turkey. The pilots flew 5 tasks in total, so let's find out just who won. After one short task at the beginning and 1 day stand down due to weather conditions, the second task was a challenging 93.1 kilometre long race. Patience, tactical skills and a dose of luck were requested for success. Martin Jovanovski from Macedonia took the win, landing before Stefan Drulli from France and Yasin Savoy from Bulgaria. The third task was very challenging and a long one. Pilots turned entirely clockwise to finish after 102 kilometres in goal. Only 31 pilots have made it till there. The fourth task was a day to remember. An 84-kilometre racetrack was flown with 4,180 metre top climbs around the volcano that provided spectacular views. Galen Kirkpatrick made her best result in her first World Cup, coming in goal in 4th place overall. And after 5th last 80 kilometres task, we finally knew who won the best in the overall classification. An incredible performance from Martin Jovanovski, coming in the top 3 every day, made him the winner of the Paragliding World Cup in Turkey. Congratulations. After an amazing 3 days of domination by Mario Kessling in the grand final of the SAILPLANES Grand Prix 2021 in St. Aubin, France, there was a slim chance that any other glider would be able to overtake the German pilot. And suddenly, Sebastian Carver woke up. On a difficult overcast day, Sebastian Carver once again displayed his mastery of the sky and won race 5, challenging with as a cold front approaching St. Aubin with a large mass of cloud covering the area. A task up and down the Durance Valley was 254 kilometres long. In the middle of the race, Sebastian remained at the top at over 1,300 metres, but the pack was drifting lower and lower and no one found any climb. Philippe Di Pecci eventually marked a thermal. Sebastian joined the climb that Perci had found, and the gaggle joined them, and the race began again. Sebastian left at 1,500 metres and the lower pilots, including Mario, struggled to get the climb above 1,000 metres. That was a really good fight. In the general classification, Sebastian Carver overtook Mario Kessling by only 1 point. Maximilien Sage from France took 3rd place. So this is a 17th World Championship title for Sebastian Carver. Someone also counted that Sebastian earned in overall 62 medals in the official FAI ratified contest. Wow. I spoke with Sebastian during his way back home from the SAILPLANES Grand Prix final. Well, what an event, what a competition. Maximilian France in 3rd, Mario Germany takes 2nd, and you take another amazing win. What a race. Tell me about that last day.
This is about the psyche, you know. We both were a little bit stressed, I see. Mario Kessling, he was already 8 times in the 2nd place flying with me in competition. So I think in this competition he was a better pilot. So I already admitted it 1 day or 2 days earlier. That he flies fantastically and he knows the area very, very well. And if he wins, I will shake his hand with pleasure and congratulate, because he was very good. But on last day, when we started to fly with normal thermals, I managed to catch up and be in front of Mario. So it put so much stress on him that he tried to do something else. This is the Grand Prix, so it's not enough to be with the goggle. You have to be in front of them. So that's why he tried to fly in a little bit of into the valley. I didn't know what he does because I couldn't see him for a long time. And he had an impression that we flying along the ridge, we are not climbing very well. And he tried to do something else,
Right.
and it didn't work. So he had to start an engine, but we didn't know about it. So we were racing to the end.
And you want to hear more from Sebastian? You can watch the full-length interview on our YouTube channel. 22 pilots from 7 countries took part in the first European Open Intermediate Aerobatic Championships, mostly from Germany, Poland, Russia, Romania, Ukraine, Hungary and Great Britain. 4 competitions were played during the championships. The pilots flew 1 free known program and 3 free unknown programs. In the individual classification, Ivan Barsov from Russia won the first place with a gold medal and also the title of European champion. In the intermediate class, flying a Sukhoi S6M plane, earning more than 8,200 points, Ivan won 2 of the 4 tasks and was second in 2 others. Second place was taken by Alexander Vasilev, also from Russia, and third goes to Dan Stefanascu from Romania. Over 50 years ago, the first plane went up in the Nevada desert to kick off what would become the Still National Championship air races, and a legacy was born, a legacy of history, heritage and perseverance. Now, after COVID difficulties, the most legendary Reno Air Races is back. Airplanes will compete in 7 categories: T6, STOL, Sport, Formula 1, Biplane, Jet and Unlimited. Races started today and the event will last until Sunday. The course of the air races is actually several courses overlaid on the same piece of ground. All of them share a southern stretch that runs along the north side of Stade Field's east-west runway, directly in front of the pits and the grandstands. The longest one is almost 8 miles long, and the roar of the fastest planes, well, just listen to this. Microsoft Flight Simulator is partnering with the Reno Air Racing Association to bring the famous air races, the world's fastest motorsport, to the sim. The Reno Air Races represent the first major expansion for Microsoft Flight Simulator. My next special guest has over 4,000 jumps and has been on multiple world records, including the 400-way all-time largest skydiving record formation and the 181-way women's world record formation, for which she also produced an award-winning documentary which is called Pink Skies, and it's available on Amazon. At her day job, she was also a 777 pilot for a major airline, just retired. Please meet Gulshan Gilbert. What a career you have had with flying. You've put a lot of effort and time with mentoring people coming into flying. Tell me a bit about that.
Yes. Well, as you just mentioned, we both came up in the sport, and I also came up in aviation, spanning a time period that really allowed us to see the history of the sport and of skydiving, because like I went from shut and a halves to tape wells to blast handles to finally the 3-ring circus and so many other bits and parts of the gear that changed until we pretty much have a solid, there's tweaks and stuff happening, but not the kind of huge innovations. So we grew up with the history of the sport. I also grew up with the history of aviation. I started flying, my first type rating was in a DC-3, and it was mostly because I really wanted to do that. But so I encompass the radial engines through piston engines, through turboprops, through turbojet engines, and of course all the developments to from steam gauges to the kind of LCD screens that we have today. And I think I have a lot to offer in terms of experience, also quite a bit of breakthrough of glass ceiling, if you will. For many years, I was the only woman wherever it was I was flying. And I think, we just owe it to the next generation to impart our experience and advice and encouragement.
So I talked with Gulshin for almost half an hour, and it was a very interesting chat, and you can find it on our YouTube channel as always. Now some news from the FEI page. Szeged, the Hungarian city of sunshine, is the host of the 22nd FEI European Hot Air Ballooning Championships with 100 competitors. They will compete there until the 18th of September. This year's much anticipated event will see competitors from 23 countries, including, for the very first time, a pilot from Armenia. Other notable entrants include multiple world and European champions, a junior world champion, a 5 times European champion, a women's European champion, a 19 times Dutch, an 8 times Austrian, a 7 times Belgian, a 6 times Hungarian, 5 times English, and a 5 times Latvian, and a 4 times French champion. You can follow the competitors on the official event website, the European2021.eu, and on the Facebook fan page as well. Archer Aviation has announced that the FAI has approved the G1 certification basis for all its electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft design. According to the company, it will now focus on finalising the G2 issue paper, which will lay out the means of compliance with the G1 requirements. Archer's 4-passenger eVTOL design is expected to be capable of travelling distances of up to 60 miles at 150 miles per hour. The company is aiming to begin flight testing in late 2021. United Airlines has announced plans to acquire a fleet of 100 Archer eVTOL once the aircraft is in operation and provided it meets the airline's requirements. Gigi released a very short but extremely cool video of chasing Gianno Cordia, wingsuit pilot, flying right over the flying Egyptian flag which was spread between 2 parachutists. Take a look. Wow, that was close, guys. Okay, it's time to move on to our Hall of Fame section. On the 9th of September 1913, Soviet pilot Pyotr Netestrov flew a Newport IVG into an inside loop, the first time this aerobatic maneuver had ever been performed. Also known as a Netestrov's loop or a dead loop, the inside loop was completed by entering from a dive, putting the nose up and flying in a closed curve in the vertical plane and then returning to a dive. On the 11th of September 1920, Edison Monton landed at Marina Field near the Presidio of San Francisco, completing the final leg of the first transcontinental airmail flight by the US Postal Service. Airplane number 151 carried 6 sacks full of first-class mail from Minola, New York. Wooten, a pilot assigned to Salt Lake City, taking over the flight from another pilot, flew from Reno, Nevada to San Francisco, California, a distance of 250 miles in 1 hour 58 minutes. The entire cross-country flight had taken 75 hours. On the 11th of September 1962, Soviet test pilot Peter Maximovich Ostapenko set a new FEI world record for altitude in horizontal flight of 22,670 meters, which is 74,377 feet on the brand new prototype of the MiG-21 jet fighter. This individual fighter airplane set 2 other FAI world records: speed record of 1,492 miles per hour over a 100-kilometer course and 2,681 kilometers over the 25km course. On the 13th of September 1935, flying his huge H1 Special, Howard Robert Hughes Jr. set an FEI world record for speed over a 3km course near Santa Ana, California, making 7 passes over a measured course, each in opposite directions. His average speed was 567.12 kilometers an hour. This was 61.27 kilometers per hour faster than the previous record set by Raymond Delmont in 1934. That's it for this week's show. Hope to see you here again next week. You can contact us, of course, via mail, Facebook or Instagram, or try to catch me via Twitter as well. So stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies.